You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Our first Mindset and Motivation Monday of the new year. Looking forward to starting this new year strong. Hopefully you're doing the same. Today, actually, like I do almost every new Monday of a new year, is the start to my personal detox. So every January, I do a detox, not just for my body, not just for wellness, but also my mind. I love going through those first few fasting days, and that's a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today. Not so much the detox, but actually how fasting from certain things and how we move into a better mindset allows us to think that much more clearly. And when we're thinking more clearly, we see things that we need to be focusing on. So right now, I have no doubt at all that you've accumulated enough knowledge in your life in order to be able to achieve all of the goals that you know of presently. And I say presently because I know 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will most likely have even greater goals, and that's a great thing as well. But what I want to talk about today is not the lack of knowledge that most of us have, but actually the lack of a detailed plan carried out over time. So I know I've spoken about with you before about having a blueprint, having a coach, having a book, having a guide, whatever it might be. We'll touch on that today, but today's topic is going to be a little bit different. Many people right now are stuck somewhere between accumulating the knowledge and then actually taking that first step. So Anthony Robbins really talks about something that I think is absolutely fantastic. He talks about this concept of no man's land. So it's basically what happens is we're stuck in a position in our life where things aren't really too bad. They're not necessarily great, but they're also not really too bad. So what happens is they're not bad enough to force us to make a change, and things aren't good enough in order for us to feel truly fulfilled and happy. And it is one of the worst places to be. So what I want you to do now is start to use just a little bit more self-awareness. Are you truly happy with where you are right now in life? And if you're not, is it because you simply lack that big goal or you lack that next level to your life that you want to achieve? And if you know that there is another level for you, are you worried that there simply isn't going to be enough time, enough energy, enough finances, etc., in order to make it happen? Because again, most of us go through that, right? Most of us are looking to up-level our life. We're looking to improve our relationships, our career, or that thing that gives us passion and purpose in life. We're looking to improve our overall wellness, improve our body, improve our spirituality. So we say, well, why don't we do all of those things? Well, one of them is sometimes we lack a concrete plan. So we at least need to start there. We need to have a plan, and we need to simply know what is it that we want out of life. You have to ask. So life's not necessarily going to get it right. You're not necessarily going to get what you want out of life if you don't know how to ask. And the right way to ask, and we've gone over this on previous Motivation and Mindset Mondays, is you have to ask. You have to get crystal clear. Here's what I want to achieve. What does your ideal relationship look like? Your ideal career, your ideal financial situation, your ideal wellness and body and spirituality. Start with one. What is the one area that you want to focus on first? Go back to last Monday's show where I went over the 12-week year. You're going to be able to accomplish a lot this year, but let's take it one action, one step at a time. So let's get crystal clear. What is it that we want? Don't put the governor on, okay? Don't limit yourself to what you believe you can achieve. There's always time to pare it down later, especially after you listen to last Monday's show about how we break things down into 12-week periods of time of what we can achieve. But, shoot for the moon. Literally shoot for the moon of what it is that you would like out of whatever area of your life you're looking to up level, okay? So that's what I want you to do. Become aware first that we need to make a change. We need to get out of this no man's land, and we need to begin to move to that next level by simply having a plan. And then after that, we're going to create goals. We're going to create real goals, and we're going to base them on what we can achieve over the next 12 weeks. Now, it might not get us to our ultimate goal, but I'll tell you, you'll be light years ahead if you simply break down what you can achieve over the next 12 weeks, and you might surpass it. That's the great thing. But you want to make it achievable so you feel good, right? You can really put that little check in that check box to make sure that you've accomplished that. Great. Now you're becoming a goal-achieving machine, and you can move on to that next level. The other thing I want you to do is make sure that your goals are not in friction with who you believe that you are, right? So this is the big thing. We will always self-sabotage ourselves. We'll always find a way that it didn't work out if we do not feel it is a part of who we are on a deep subconscious level. So for example, we just launched a brand new metabolic weight loss system called Fatlocity. It's the first time ever in the functional medicine industry that there has been a day and night fat burning formula along with an entire instructional course on how to reset the metabolism. But I'll tell you this, there will still be people who are not successful with this if they do not change the view and vantage point of who they are. So, for example, if you hang out with your family quite often or a close group of friends and everyone is overweight, or they're always talking about their struggles with how they can't lose weight, how they did this diet plan and that diet plan, and nothing ever works out. Well, if that is your deep-rooted belief as well, that you're a part of that, or if you were to achieve a new body and get the wellness, the health, everything that you want, look and feel great, would you feel like your friends or family would ostracize you, would literally excommunicate you from their group, saying, oh, what do you think, you're too good for us, or this or that? Is that something that you have a hold of belief? And we talk about that actually inside of the Fatlocity course, because there's 8 different lessons with the de-stress protocol regarding metabolism. And that's emotional balance. You have to understand that you will never beat the subconscious mind. But here's the nice thing, you can reprogram it. You could also hold the belief that I will use myself as a role model in order to help my friends and my family achieve their ideal weight, especially from a wellness-based perspective. Remember, whenever we help people lose weight, if they want to lose weight for how they look and confidence and self-image, that's great. What we do is we say people live longer. They have less pain, they have less inflammation, they have better hormone balance, less chance for cardiovascular disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure if we help them achieve a healthy body weight. They don't need to be ultra skinny or anything like that. We simply want to help people get to a good weight. But do you really want that for yourself? That's what we have to ask people. And again, this goes for relationships as well. If you believe you're not the type of person who can be in a loving and a respectful relationship, it will be difficult to ever achieve that until you rewire that thinking that, no, you can break the cycle. Even if your mom, your grandmother, your friends, your coworkers, they haven't been able to do it because you're you. You're not anybody else. And at any moment in time, you can decide to change. That's what I want for you. But I want to be careful about the self-sabotage because it's everywhere and every single one of us has it in our life to a certain degree. I mean, you can simply look at your life and say, oh, where am I not? And sometimes it's, well, we simply haven't gone for it. But have we not gone for it because we don't believe? Or it's in conflict for a fear of success or a fear of failure? Because these are big things to look at. And if you say, okay, well, I am going after it, what I want you to then understand, and this is such a big principle, and that's what today's show is all about, is something called the compound effect. Okay, it's a book written by Darren Hardy many years ago, maybe even 10 years ago now, but could be more. And actually, I don't know if it's more, but right around there, Darren Hardy, I believe he was the CEO of Success Magazine, wrote a book called The Compound Effect. It's not a new fundamental concept, but what it goes over is this, that you are the sum of all your actions to this day, and that true success is really predicated on consistency. So when you want to figure out how to achieve a goal, it is this. You make small decisions every day of your life. That's it. I mean, this is the truth. You make small decisions every day of your life. They over time lead to results. Now, those results are either positive or negative, or they keep you kind of neutral, stuck where you are right now. And the only way to achieve new things in your life and take your life to that next level is to make new small choices every day, be consistent with them at each day, and over time, you too will see new results, because that is literally how life works. You do things and you get results. And also, when you do those things, you reinforce how you feel and what you think about yourself. Now, of course, when you start to take new actions, do new things, think new thoughts, they're going to feel uncomfortable in the beginning. They absolutely are, because it's new. And you are fighting the ego, which is keeping you in your place. And you're also moving outside of your comfort zone. That comfort zone is the unknown. Now you're in the unknown where things could go really poorly, or they could go really well. That has to do with those consistent actions over time, and also the belief that you're going to be able to figure this out. You are. As Jim Rohn once said, and I love quoting Jim Rohn, there are no new fundamentals. So I believe even on today's show, I've quoted 3 people already: Anthony Robbins, Darren Hardy, Jim Rohn, and another one is a book that I talk about quite often too, called The Slight Edge. And The Slight Edge was written by Jeff Olson. I've done reviews on each one of these books and people before, but with The Slight Edge, it talks about the same exact thing. The Slight Edge means it's easy not to do the things that would take you to that next level. Meaning like, okay, there's 2 people in life, they both want the same thing. One person, day in and day out, they don't see the results. Let's just say they're going to the gym, they're eating right, they're starting to get little results. Well, after 6 months, they lost 50 pounds, okay? But it would have been just as easy to have a little cheat here and there every day, to skip the gym at least half the time each week. It's easy to do those things because you know what? Life is busy. Things always come up, but they come up for everybody. So that's the issue, is like, what type of person are you going to be? Are you going to be someone that prioritizes your goals? And if you say, well, I have no time in life because I have to dedicate myself to my kids, my spouse, my work, my church, my community, like whatever it might be, I get it. I understand. I'm there as well. So the only time that I really get to work on me is before everyone else wakes up in the morning, somewhere around lunchtime, and then towards the very end of the day. And that's how it is for most people. We all have jobs, we all have families, we're all pretty busy. Now, if you don't have that, well, consider yourself, I wouldn't say consider yourself lucky, I was about to say that. I would say this, like, consider yourself in a unique position because you have the time now. Take advantage of that. Just put more time into your goals, but for everyone else, I'm telling you right now, you can take back a half hour to start your day. A half hour at lunch and a half hour before bed. It's still 90 minutes per day. And if you do that every day, what do we have over the course of a week? Well, we have over 10 hours, right? So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at the compound effect. Okay, I might not have enough time or a lot of time every day. And the Slight Edge would teach me, well, it's easy to just sleep in a little bit. It's easy to, just go out with friends at lunch. It's easy to watch TV or the news before bed. But it's also easy if we make it to carve out that half hour for us. All it takes is habit. And those compound results, that 90 minutes per day, is going to be enormous in order to changing your life over the course of a year. I mean, it's absolutely enormous. I don't even know the math on that, but I'm sitting here with a calculator in front of me. So if I look at 90 minutes and I multiply that by 52 weeks, we want to do this day in and day out. That's it. That is 4,680 hours. That's got to be around 80 hours per week. Let's see. Divide that by, not 80 hours per week. Let's divide that by, we are going to do 90 minutes times 365 days per year. And that equals 32,850 hours or minutes. Now we're going to multiply or divide that by 60 for the hours, and we get 547 and a half hours. So 547 is the amount of hours you will be putting to your new goal with just doing a half hour upon waking or whenever it is before you leave for work or your day or your kids wake up, half hour before bed and a half hour at lunch. If we were to put in over 500 hours a year minimum towards a goal, do you think you would be successful or light years ahead of where you're at right now? I believe the answer is yes. I really do. Because here's the thing. You're also going to start to think differently. I call these my anchors, and I would love you to listen to my previous podcast on this, on a Motivation and Mindset Monday. How you start your day and how you end your day says a lot about who you are and what you believe and what you want to achieve. Your mind is different to start the day because you're focused on what? Your goal, your big goal. And also, as you end the day, you fill your mind with the thoughts of, I am someone that takes action towards my goals. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm reviewing my day, and here's what I'm going to do the next day as well. It is huge. And then also that midday break, I always have for myself too, to make sure I am not too far off track. Those are my 3 anchors. I use them every single day to check in, and I actually set alarms on my phone. So by the time 6 a.m. rolls around, I should already have been up. I should have just brushed my teeth, got ready. Okay, I'm focused on my goal. Another one at 12 o'clock. I'm focused on my goal. It basically says check in. That's all my alarm says. And the same at 9 o'clock at night. If I haven't already focused on what it is I need to do, that's the check-in. And you can do the same for yourself. These are not hard things to do, right? The slight edge. Easy to do, also easy not to do, but you can do these things. Another quote inside of the compound effect is this. Success is doing a half a dozen things really well, repeated 5,000 times. And that's the truth, right? And if you look at that, we're going to repeat it 3 times a day, minimum, and we're going to repeat it over 365 days. That's it. Well, that's 1,000 times. That's 1,000 times minimum you are going to go through whatever your goal is. Like, that's all that it is. And you are becoming an expert at your craft. Whether, again, it's weight loss or body transformation, getting well. And when I say getting well, you might say, well, I've been trying for a decade or 20 years, and I understand. But here's the thing. You can only get it wrong so many times. That's the truth. You can only get it wrong so many times. So when you encounter an obstacle, you need to write these things down. You need to have a journal because that way it didn't work. But let's not blow it all up. Let's make a small tweak, right? So if you can't lose weight, but you were pretty successful using this route, okay. Well, what do we need? Well, we need to just make small adjustments to that plan where you were successful, at least for a period of time. Maybe you went too low carb for too long, but it worked in the beginning. Great. So now let's begin to slowly reintroduce. Or maybe now it's time to add in an exercise program. So there are many things that you can do to begin to tweak in order to become very successful. And I want you to take this into every area of your life. One more quote I want to give you from the book is this. You need to check in with yourself. So the book talks about this. The compound effect talks about this. You have to check in with yourself at least once a day. How am I doing? Am I on track to achieving my goals? Because if not, they give the analogy of this. If the nose of a plane is pointed just 1% off course when it leaves Los Angeles in California for New York City, New York, it will end up in Delaware once it gets to the East Coast. So here's the deal. You have to make sure you are tracking. The most successful people I know in life are tracking. They track their weight, they track how well they're doing, they track all of the different things that I've spoken about before. So one of the goals I told you was this, that I make sure that I exercise at least 200 times a year. And it's such a huge number, right? It's a huge number. But all I have to do is print out a spreadsheet that has 4 rows of 50. That's it. And every time I exercise, I have to highlight or cross off one of those in the 200 total. What that allows me to do is make sure that I'm getting in at least 4 workouts per week, right? Because 4 times 50, let's say I take 2 weeks off a year, 4 times 50 is 200. I need to get in 4 workouts a week in order to get my 200 workouts in per year. Now, that's the minimum. I can do more, but my goal is 4 a week. Let's say I miss one. Well, the next week should be 5, okay? I don't want to get to the point where I'm doing 7 days a week in order to catch back up. Why? Because now I know, because I've been tracking, I've fallen behind on my goal. And that is not conducive to being well, to improving mitochondrial function, to improving longevity, to improving immunity, to keeping the body fat off, any of those things. So I have to keep myself accountable. And I want you to do the very same thing. Sometimes it's helpful to have a partner or spouse in this with you as well, or someone that you could talk to, or it's great to have a personal trainer, or a health coach, a life coach, someone that if you are not in the beginning really able to track yourself or keep yourself accountable, make sure someone else is. It's one of the number one reasons to have a personal trainer. Maybe you're already great at coming up with workout programs, but what happens is this: you might not be the best at actually following through and getting to the gym. So having a personal trainer is someone that you are paying for that session, and you're allocating your time and they're allocating their time to you. That's perfect. Why? Because you don't want to lose the money, and you also want to show up because you don't want to let that person down. So make 2 appointments a week if you're able to with a personal trainer. Even if it's just for the first 12 weeks, get momentum going. Hire a health coach, hire a life coach, an accountability coach. Or if you're not able to afford those things, I understand. Partner up with someone that is your accountability coach, and the two of you go back and forth. Inside of our support group, it's a global support group at cabralsupportgroup.com. It's a Facebook group. You can just put a post. Does someone want to work with me as an accountability partner? I need someone to check in with on Monday and Friday of every week to make sure that I've accomplished my goals. Here's my simple set of goals. It might just be up to 3 things maximum. That's it. 1, 2, or 3. Did you go to the gym 4 times this week? 4 out of the 5 days. Let them know. I mean, that's it, basically. Did you follow your nutrition plan cheat-free? You get 1 cheat meal per week or 1 flex meal a week. Did you follow through? Yes or no? And if you have the answer to your accountability partner, fantastic, right? They're not going to scold you. They're not going to punish you. It's not about that. It's about making sure that you do this for you, but also that in the beginning, there's a human connection, that there is someone saying, listen, why didn't you accomplish the things that you wanted to accomplish? What went wrong this week? And it's okay. How can we make sure that next week, though, we're back on track and that doesn't happen? So that's really what an accountability partner is there for. Someone that's going to guide you, someone that's going to support you, or just listen. But these are the things that we need to do. And I'm telling you right now. There is no doubt in 2020, with 52 weeks, so let's just say 50 weeks, that you can't do your NCAP 30 minutes upon waking, 30 minutes before bed, work it into your schedule, that you can begin to work on your goals. The workouts, the wellness plan, the meal prep, the relationship, like setting a night that you go out with your spouse or your partner, whatever it is that you need to do. You could be reading books. It could be whatever it is. And reading books is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But if you already have the knowledge, if you don't really need more knowledge, get out there and begin taking action. Honestly, take action, because it is action and just small actions. Major actions are not the difference makers, because it needs to be done over time. So take small actions every day. Don't run when you need to walk first. If you're not doing 10,000 steps a day, don't worry about high-intensity interval training, right? Walk first and then progress. So small actions plus consistency plus time equals massive results over the course of a year. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.